So in this segment, we're going to be discussing Sophie Ridge doing a pretty good job on Jonathan Gullis here, the now deputy chairman of the Conservative Party, and Gullis looking like a right idiot in this clip.
A record number of migrants across the Channel in small boats this
Be asylum seekers, but pop off.
year. New figures today show. Does this government have a grip on the UK border?
Well, I think it's very important to remember, Sophie, that the government's introduced a wide range of measures. So one of them was to do a deal with France, which saw 26,000 fewer small boat vessels cross the English Channel.
And you said you would stop the boats. Clearly, you have not stopped the boats.
Last year. We also know that returns agreements with places like Albania led towards a 36% reduction in small boat numbers arrivals over the entire course of 2023 compared to the 2022 year as well. But there is one big elephant, Sophie, in the room, which is the fact that get the right animal, which is the fact that we have a very clear plan to get people deported to Rwanda, because if you enter this country illegally, you will not be able to claim asylum.
So the Rwanda plan, they've been working on this for years, right? It has not deterred anyone coming here, and it will not deter anyone coming here because the numbers are so small. You're playing a game of probability. If you look at the things that he said were effective, a deal with France, a returns agreement with Albania, these are the things that have worked. There's a reason for that, because you're stopping people from making the journey across here. Or at least being able to return them when they do get here. That's why the Dublin III agreement was so effective. That's why we've seen kind of post-Brexit, the numbers kind of rise so dramatically, because we're out of that agreement. Because now the prospect of the UK has to process people's applications has happened. That's the key problem here, and that's the thing the Tories don't understand. And because they keep pushing the idea of the Rwanda bill working, when there's not going to be enough time for it to really be implemented, maybe that's the thing they'll hang their hat on. But at the same time, this has been a problem for years now. You can't say, oh, this new thing we're going to put in after the election is going to stop this problem, when you've had years to stop the problem. The voters won't buy it. You've had so many stop migration acts and things like that have passed Parliament, and they've done nothing. They're not effective.
But those pesky peers in the House of Lords, predominantly Labour, and Labour MPs and Sir Keir Starmer in the House of Commons are continuing to...
Which again, if the government wanted to, they can force through bills. They do have slight timing issues, like the Lords can reject it, but ultimately the House of Commons is supreme over the House of Lords. They can, if they thought these bills were really going to work, they could try and force them through. They're not going to, and they're out of time now, but they could have done that from the jump.
To block any attempts that we make in order to get this Rwanda policy off the ground, because one, it will act as an effective deterrent, but you need it, as with all the other measures, to make sure that we have that plans.
You abstained in the Rwanda vote, didn't you?
Well, actually, I voted in favour of the Nationality and Borders Act, and voted for the Illegal Migration Act. And with the Rwanda bill, what I made very clear was that I wanted to see the bill pass. So I didn't block or deter it at any point.
But you abstained on it,
amendments. Well, I suggested amendments, Sophie, and obviously that's a matter of public record.
Did you abstain or not on the Rwanda bill?
Sophie, that's a matter of public record. I did choose to abstain on that particular bill.
So
but
you're one of the pesky. You can't blame the pesky Labour peers. You didn't vote for it either.
I can actually, Sophie, because at the end of the day, I haven't voted like Labour have over 90 times to block the Rwanda scheme from being able to take place.
You abstained on it. You didn't vote for it.
That's almost as good as trying to block it in abstention, because you're not giving your support of it. Especially when he's trying to argue, I wanted certain amendments put in. Members of the House of Lords might want certain amendments that you're not privy to. I think that's what they are trying to do. Their first step is trying to amend the bill before anything else. So this whole argument of, well, it's okay, I abstained because I wanted amendments, but no one else is allowed to make any amendments because they're pesky Lords trying to stop us. Nonsense. The only reason he's mad is because the amendments the Lords are putting through are less draconian, whereas the amendments he probably wanted are more draconian.
You can't think it was that great. You didn't vote for it.
Sophie, there's a very clear difference here between saying that you want something to work, you believe in Rwanda, as I do, and I want Rwanda to work, as I do.
Why did you vote for it?
The Prime Minister does. But obviously I had, with that particular bill, a couple of amendments that I wanted to see be adopted. They weren't adopted. I was true to my word that I said that I was going to not block the bill, unlike the Labour Party that continue to block it every turn, every corner. And
it's not going to work, pal. It's not going to work. You understand, about 300 people over there, compared to the hundreds of people we have crossing the channel some days. Like, it's not going to work. I don't know why he doesn't get that through his dumb skull. Like, that bill is not going to do its job. And you've passed multiple bills, multiple laws, should I say, to stop the boats. It's not working. Your key pledge is not working. The only thing you've got to hang your hat on now is, oh, this mythical plan would have worked if it wasn't for those pesky Labour Lords. Even though if you wanted to push this bill through quicker, you could have done so.
I continue to believe that Rwanda will be the effective deterrent alongside the measures that we've already done, which is obviously making sure we get France stopping the boats from taking.
Also, evidently, you didn't believe the bill was going to work if you wanted certain amendments to it for it to be more kind of draconian. Obviously, you didn't believe it was going to work then. You didn't believe it was going to be effective enough. His argument really falls apart based on that abstention. He's really dumb.
Off and making sure we get returns deals with countries like Albania, which has seen a 93% reduction in Albanian arrivals.
Because we have a bloody returns agreement, and that's why. If we were still part of Dublin 3, we wouldn't have the problems we are seeing now. Not as much.
Coming here illegally. The Labour Party, what do they want to do, Sophie? They want to join an EU quota sharing scheme, which would potentially see over 100,000 illegal migrants.
I don't even know if that's even Labour Party policy to join that programme, to be honest.
Come to the UK, a dish on top of the ones that are already arriving illegally. Keir Starmer is Mr. Free Movement, let's not forget.
He's kind of pulled back on that one, but that whole argument doesn't make sense because free movement of people was for people wanting to live and work here from the EU, and it gave us reciprocal access. So this whole argument of trying to conflate asylum seekers with kind of EU's freedom of movement genuinely makes no sense. But Rich did a really good job here because she pulled him out on it. She looked at his voting record, said you abstained on it. So how are you going to get mad that this bill is not passing through Parliament as fast as you want it to, considering you didn't even back it in the first place? But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.